How's Egypt treating you so far?
Super cool. Organized chaos on steroids.
Let's be happy. Let us break it. Let us enjoy and do it with love.
It's kind of a long story, but I tried to narrow it down. Me and my best friend Fuad and a designer friend Leticia were together, and it was in 2017, I think. And it was at a time when there was only one place or a couple of places to go party, and they were always playing the same music and booking the same artist, and it was really limited in terms of what you could listen to or what you could play. So we decided to come up with our own party, and we called a friend Danny and told him, Danny, we're going to rent your studio for a party. And he was like, okay. And then a couple of friends came in and joined in to help, and we organized and decorated everything with kind of a vintage setup. It was exactly what we needed. It was the platform where us as DJs or artists, we could like do whatever we want creatively, be it the music or like just the concept of the event and then the communication online. And then it grew from there.
A lot of years we were doing the exact same thing, each in his bubble if you want. And then when we came in together, this is where actually things started becoming much more interesting, you know, in terms of collaborating, getting new people on board, pushing retrogroove as a party, collaborating a lot with our respective brands.
It's when I started to learn on vinyls actually, because when I switched to vinyls, I bought my first turntables like around 6 years ago, and then the only records that you would find were mostly house, because that was mostly produced on records. And so slowly my genre started to shift from the deeper house to more fresh, straight up house, and then Chicago house, and then all of the stuff, and then disco obviously. But then we switched to disco a lot when we traveled around to festivals and stuff like that. Discovered a lot of new artists.
Yeah, I've always had this influence with house music from the beginning, from the Now compilations and the Ministry of Sound compilations. But things took us a bit towards different directions with melodic and progressive house at the beginning. But the French scene influenced me the most, like people like Antoine Clamaran and like Bob Sinclair in the very, very early days. This is where I started getting more and more attention into house music, and then branching out into more funky stuff along the way, yeah. I think the way it started very organically and very, very humbly in terms of party, and also remember something that usually the retrogroove parties have no communication out there, so it's all based on a really very interesting group of people receiving updates and messages on when the party is and what the location is and so on. So this really made the brand really exclusive in a way, but also very accessible to the crowds. It's really a balance between keeping things exclusive and niche, but at the same time going out there to get the name and the music and the sound across.
The future of retrogroove.
It's looking bright.
It's a tough one because the future in general doesn't really, we cannot conceptualize it yet because of everything that's been happening, but for retro it was always about moving forward and evolving, regardless of the size, regardless of the sound, and regardless of the place. So we're going with the direction that we like to in terms of music, and we're trying also to export the project by traveling here to Egypt. I was in Amman a couple of weeks ago. We're going to Paris at the end of November. So we're always bringing that vibe with us, and again, it's not about the music, honestly. It's three main pillars that work together. The music that you play actually influences the people's energy, but the people's energy also influences the DJ, so it's a back and forth. And then the venue, where everything is set up, is the base that will influence both together. So it's a feedback loop. I love the space. They nail it down to the perfection, because they actually did a couple of neon signs that we have. One that said retrogroove in Arabic, and the Come to Mama, which is the trademark. We have also the shirts, like the retrogroove shirts that we did. They are selling them here as well, so it really feels like home.
You guys are home.
Yeah.
This is your
Super
home.
happy to be here, really, Amjad.